Hey, welcome to my art studio. You're gonna have a treat today, I guess, because you're getting to see me record in my home studio. So you're getting to see my lovely table here that I work on. I have paper taped down to protect my tabletop because otherwise I would probably ruin it. Anyway, I got out a Gelli plate because I wanted to show you the addition process on Gelli plates. And all that means is you're adding paint to the plate in a different way rather than just rolling it on like you've been doing all along. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to add it maybe in a different way where you're going to stamp it on, you're going to brush it on, and just put it on in a different way than just rolling it with your brayer. So what I did was I pulled out one of my prints that I've made before. So this is already dry. It's a beautiful print. It's blue and green mixed together, but it's not especially exciting. And so what I wanted to do was show you some ways to work on your prints more than just printing it off and then turning it in. You can print on top of this after it's dry, again, with other colors. So I'm gonna pull out a couple of brushes, and as you can see, these are brushes from my home. And so these don't look like necessarily the same brushes that you have. I've already prepared the palette with some colors. My white was not wanting to squeeze out of my bottle, so I just set my lid here, and I'm just going to use off of the top of that because it's basically drying up and I couldn't get it to squeeze out. And I was thinking about what colors would complement these blue and green colors I already have going on this print. So I thought yellow would be pretty on here, a darker blue would work, a white would work, a black would work too. But basically you want to add the paint on like you're going to paint something on here. Now it doesn't have to be any special design. It can be anything. So I'm gonna just like take my brush and literally just draw a dash line. This doesn't have to be rocket science. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything that's, oh wow, look at what you painted. I'm just gonna add. Now you do have to work quickly. I can't take forever on this because this paint will start to dry. I'm grabbing my bowl of water and a paper towel. This paper towel has been lovingly used over and over. I probably should have grabbed a better paper towel. Let's see. Let me get one right now. Okay, that at least gives me a little more clean paper towel to work with when I'm done. I am gonna try to make sure this paint's on fairly thick right now because I know it's gonna be on there the longest. I'm gonna rinse my brush and then I'm gonna go on to another color. Let's say that I just am going to do, now I'm thinking about this. This side is gonna go on here and be on the yellow side. So the green side is actually gonna be the opposite on this side. So I'm thinking about putting some circles of blue on the opposite side, and it's kind of thin paint right here because I have water probably still in my brush. I didn't probably get it all dried out, so it's kind of like resisting a little bit, but that's okay. Let's go back over it. And I'm just gonna put 3 circles, and then I might do some lines this way to kind of, and again, I'm working as quickly as possible. You don't want to take too long and think about it and then it be dry and it not print off at all. So you don't want to waste your time doing too much thinking about what you're going to do. I'm just adding on some shapes and some lines and going for it. Okay, now I also want to do a little bit of yellow on this side. So maybe I'll add a few over here. Oops, almost did the wrong yellow. That other yellow is really thick, so I'm going to just stick with the more fresh yellow. It's a little more wet than thick, I should say. It's kind of creamy when it's dried and it's a little harder to work with, so. Okay, that looks good. And then I think I'll try a little bit of this blue on the other side too. What am I gonna do? Let's see. Let's do some more lines down. Again, I'm trying not to think about it, just go with your gut instinct here and just go, you know? Don't worry about it. If it doesn't turn out, it's not a big deal. All right. Maybe, I'm gonna add a quick little half circle along the edge. Finish filling this in real quick. Okay. So then you're gonna take this print that you're not really in love with, maybe we should say, or it just needs a little something more. It's a little bit tricky to line up. I can probably line it up from the top the easiest because I can lay it down flat from here. So maybe that's what I would suggest trying. And then lay it down as flat as possible and rub it real good. We'll see what we get here. So I did not paint the whole plate, so you can see how you can add on a design or a decoration from there, okay? Okay, so there's what I got. Some of the paint smeared more than I might have liked, but you kind of have to just be okay with it because again, this is just, it's jelly plate printing. You never know what you're gonna get on your prints, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take another sheet and just clean it real quick so I don't have to go and spray and wipe it down as much. So I'll just use this as my clean off sheet. And sometimes I like the prints that come off of here just as well as, or even better than my first print. So you never know. Again, there's a little paint left on there. I'm gonna go ahead and go for it and print it again, see if I can get another ghost print. The second print is always your ghost print. Your third print, I guess, would be considered a ghost print still, but usually you don't get enough of a color of stuff on there that it's really not a whole lot of anything. So, okay, so that's one way to add paint to your jelly plate other than a brayer. Another thing you could do is you could go through a magazine and you could find a picture of, like, I thought this hydrangea bush was kind of cool. I was thinking about that, or this face. This was another kind of fun face. I liked the hair, and it's kind of a close-up, so you're not trying to do the whole body. And this was another one of those faces that I thought might work. I'm trying to find something that's about the same size as the jelly plate. It could be a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be as big, but what you would do instead of cutting it out, you're gonna lay your jelly plate over the top of a picture, and you can paint right on top of the jelly plate the picture of what this is. Okay, so I have cleaned off the jelly plate and I've got some paper ready to print. I went ahead and poured the paint colors that I feel like I'm going to need, and I just am going to look at this picture and I'm going to paint right on top of the jelly plate this plant to the best of my ability. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly the same, but I'm going to go ahead and just paint right where those flowers are that I can see. And I'm going to put the paint on where the little blue purpley flowers are first with the blue. And I'm just going to dip it in and tap it on fast, because again, you have to work quickly. This isn't something that you want to spend too much time on. It needs a little more blue. And then I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to add on my purple. Is this exactly how it looks in the picture? No, but I'm getting the same sort of impression. And so that's what I'm trying to show you, is maybe you're not confident enough to paint this flower without looking at it. This is almost like you're able to trace it in a way or copy it in a way that might make it more comfortable for you to at least give it a try. And so that's what I wanted to show you, another way that you could use this additive process. Okay, now I also want to put just a little bit of white in there. I'm working very quickly here. So you do want to have everything ready to go. This is not something where you want to stop and go, oh, I still need green paint. It's too late. You need to be working and you got to keep up working fast. Okay. I cannot see every single leaf and everything in here, but I'm going to at least attempt to kind of put some of the leaves in here that I can see and the stems that I can see. And I will just kind of make it up, really. I mean, I'm still going over it, but I know it's not exactly how it looks. And I'm using two colors of green just so they can kind of mix. and make it a little more interesting than just one color of green all the time. I want to just get this on as quickly as I can, kind of paint in some leaves so at least looks like a plant in here. And the bottom of the base, this plant container, is blue as well. I don't want to use the same blue as I did on my flowers, or I think that's going to really just kind of blend in too much. So I left my yellow in my tray here, and I'm just going to go ahead and use some yellow and put it in a nice yellow, bright, sunny pot. Okay, now I've got to quit messing because I don't want everything to dry before I have time. Now, you can print on a blank sheet, or you could go find a print that is plain that you did not like, or the background's just plain like this one, and print on it. This is from a much larger print, but I'm going to go ahead and print it on here and see what I get. I'm going to lightly rub it because I know some of my paint is fairly thick and I don't want it to be too squished out, but I'm going to at least try to attempt to get a fairly decent print. Ooh, yeah, I like the way that turned out. Okay, there's plenty of paint on there, so I'm going to go ahead and try on the other side of my paper to get another print that looks similar. I'm going to go ahead and rub it fairly hard now to finish getting the paint off the plate, and then I'll probably just finish cleaning it with a towel and water after this print. You know, that one's not as bright, but it still looks pretty darn good. Okay, so that's kind of the idea of adding paint in a different way rather than just painting with a brayer and squeezing little drops on. You can go ahead and paint with a paintbrush. So there's many ways to add paint onto the plate rather than just a brayer. So give it a try. It can really be fun.